There we go. All right, recording has started. So my name is Alyssa Krutoff. I am a senior regional recruitment manager. I work out of Philadelphia. Um, I ask everyone, I already did this before, but if you can make sure that you have yourself on mute, we'll do our best to, if we need to, mute folks that there is less background noise. So we're going to ask only the person speaking has their sound on. So today we are going to give you an overview of City Year. So most of you, I think, found out about this event through Handshake, so have differing levels of City Year. We'll be focusing on 3 of our 29 sites today. So we are representing New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. But most of this information is relevant to all 29 City Year sites across the country, but we have representatives from those 3 sites who will be talking with all of you today, and we'll get to their introductions in just a minute or so. If you have questions, please pop those over in our chat. My colleague, Rashina, who's also one of our panelists, will be monitoring the chat. So she'll be making sure any questions you ask are getting answered, and the follow-up is there. If we can share links with you, we can do that as well. So if any time, please, your questions will help us going and keep this interesting and interactive as well. If we don't get to your question during our hour together today, we will send you follow-up, and we will make sure that one of us or one of our counterparts follows up with you about this. Currently, our current application, we're in a rolling application period right now. Our last deadline did pass. And so our next at the beginning of this month. So we are now on a rolling basis. So basically that means you can apply and within about 2 to 3 weeks, you will have a decision. So we'll get into the application. We're going to get into a little bit more about City Year site information, as well as our core members and our alumni sharing their day-to-day experience while they were serving. We also are just a heads up, our start dates are around the end of July, beginning to middle of August. So positions are starting soon. It's hard to believe that July is in just a couple weeks. So with that, I'm going to pass it on over, and I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves, tell us where you're from, where you served, and a little bit of background information about each of you. So I'm going to pass it on over. I'm going to have Kimmy, you can kick us off with your introduction. Kimmy, you're still on mute. You are still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Perfect.
All right, awesome. Let me try it again. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Kimmy Walters. Now you guys can hear me loud and clear. I am from Lancaster, PA, but I served with City Year at City Year Philadelphia for the year at a school called James J. Sullivan Elementary School. That was really special because we were the first group of core members to serve at that school. So we were a first-year partnership, first-year team, really awesome experience. I spent the year serving with a powerful and spirited bunch of 4th graders, and my teacher's class is his graduate class. So a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm from Lancaster County. I hope that in the future I can work in the law field as a child advocate. So that's why I really wanted to do City Year, because it would give me experience working with communities outside of my own, and really get to understand where they're coming from, what they need, and just get to know them as people and individuals, because that's what my future profession will kind of rely on doing. Right now, currently, I'm working as a summer associate with City Year Philadelphia, so that's really cool, because I get to communicate with incoming core members like you guys, give you guys resources, share my experience with you, answer your questions, all that good stuff like that. Let's see, and a little bit about what I like to do in my free time, if you guys are super interested in that. When I have a lot of free time, so when I'm not at work or doing whatever, I like to read, I like to write, I like to game a lot, mostly solo games, so I'm really into The Sims. I've been playing that again recently, playing Pokemon, stuff like that. So I just keep myself busy, hang out with friends when I'm home. But yeah, I was just in your shoes, just not even a year ago, so please ask me any questions. I'm super excited and super happy to answer them to the best of my ability.
Thank you,
That's a little
Kimmy.
bit about me.
Now we're gonna, and we'll have plenty of time to hear Kimmy answer some more questions too about her experience as we move forward. So I'm gonna pass it on over to Prince. So Prince, do you wanna give an introduction of Prince to everyone here?
Hello, everyone. My name is Prince Milliner. I currently serve at JHS 218 in East New York, Brooklyn. Um, I'm supposed to introduce myself, right? What information am I supposed to give again? I'm sorry.
So where you're from, where you served, what your career goals are,
Okay.
and what you like to do in your free time.
Okay, so I am from Arlington, Virginia. I have family in New York City, and the reason why I joined City Year is because I really have a strong passion for teaching. I'm a recent high school graduate, so I had recently went to college for my first semester. I didn't technically finish because college for me was kind of overwhelming for myself. So I had found out about City Year through my former high school principal, Dr. Wilmore, and he knew that I had a strong passion for having an impact on people and trying to provide positive energy throughout the whole universe. So I thought of City Year as that, that gateway for me to get to my ultimate destination, which is to become a gym teacher. And yeah, so now I'm trying to gain that experience through working with kids, and, having being positive. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous. But anyways, yeah, on my free time, I don't know. I like to read. I read certain books like I just finished a book called The Alchemist. I love reading Mice and Men over and over because that's a pretty cool and interesting book to me. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Prince. And now we're going to head over to, and what's great, if you leave out things in your introduction, it makes everyone more interested in learning more, right? So if you have extra questions for any of our panelists, feel free to pop those in the chat. Rashida, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, thank you, Alyssa. Hi, everybody. My name is, well, this has just changed. My name is Rashina Upton. I'm recently married, so I'm still getting used to that. But I am from Richmond, Virginia. Really cool to see you on this call, Prince. I served with City Year in two sites, one time in Baton Rouge in 2013, and I did a second year of service with City Year in Washington, D.C., a part of a team called the Civic Engagement Team. And we can get into that a little more later. But things I like to do, or my ultimate career goal is to be the best human resources professional that I can be. Being on the recruitment team is definitely a huge career. I'll say career booster. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's practicing a lot of the skills that I'll need later every day. It's pretty nice. Um, let's see. What else is there to say? I guess that's all I'll say for now, and I'll pass it on to our next panelist.
So we have all three panelists were already able to share. So why don't, Kimmy, can you just tell us, just give it, what is City Year? Can you answer that small question for us?
Yeah, I'll do my best to kind of comprise what City Year is. So City Year is, how do I even describe it? So to start off, it's an educational nonprofit organization, right? So you join City Year, you give your service more, and you have the opportunity to do a lot of like community outreach, right? So you really get a chance of like working and connecting with the communities you serve because you're going to be in that community day in and day out. City Year is a lot of things. If I had to like name a couple of words to describe here, it would be a lot of leadership. You have a lot of opportunities for leadership development in City Year because you'll be able to join a lot of different organizations within that branch, and your team as well, just being able to fill in a lot of like coordinator roles that you'll get, or just like opportunities for leadership within the school that you're working with, a lot of stuff like that. It's a collaboration, not only with the people that you're serving with, because you'll be on a team of anywhere small to 8 to like 14 to 15 other individuals, not even including your team leader or your impact manager, who are your bosses. And you really get to collaborate with a lot of diverse, interesting, different people who will share the same passions as you, and might also be coming from different walks of life with you. So you really get to like collaborate with so many different people who are outside your own experience, and you get to grow a lot with that. But also collaborate with the school that you're in, and also collaborating with the students that you work with. So there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of leadership. And it's definitely just City Year in general is just a program that really, I would say, is doing a lot to bridge the gaps for students that they have by helping them to really reach their potential, because a lot of these students don't get the one-on-one interaction that City Year can provide. So we're their tutors, we're their mentors, we're their success coaches. Like, so much of the time you'll be working with your students, just like getting to know them, right? Because when you get to know them, when you get to make them feel comfortable, when you get to see where they're at, where you get to find out their strengths, that's how you really get that academic progress that City Year is all about. So I would definitely say that, like, to sum all that up, the City Year is very much a collaborative force, right? Where we are working with our students and working with our teammates and working with our schools for the sake of the students.
So Kimmy, you went into kind of a lot of details of like what we do on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to throw it over to Rashina, not as a plant, but as a professional, maybe. Did you want to give it to Ed? Do you want to add anything about what City Year is and why we do the work that we do? Or what's the problem we're solving?
Sitting here listening to Kimmy nodding along like, yes, that is what we do. So I actually think you gave a very well-rounded answer. The only thing I'll add is that I remember when I was serving, you get a chance to really, going off of what Kimmy already said, I'm just going to reiterate this. City Year is definitely what you make it. There are so many opportunities to do a lot of different things, we say leadership, but what we don't say often is all the different ways you get to lead, and learning that following an excellent leader is a way of leading as well. I think you get a lot of opportunities to experience those things. So ultimately, I don't think I have any more to add. I think that was great.
So I will add just what our ultimate goal is. So we are working to reduce the dropout crisis in the U.S. by doing all of the things that Kimmy and Rashina shared. We place small groups of young people in urban public schools to help bridge that gap in what schools were designed to do and what the students are actually getting to help them in school and on track towards graduation. So I'm going to ask Prince if you can tell me about where you served, the students that you served, and then kind of who your team was. So who serves with City Year and where do we serve in City Year?
So I served at JHS 218K in East New York, Brooklyn. Now, the students there have very strong personalities. Like one student may, I don't know, it's a lot of scenarios I could bring up. Like one student can get upset, and then once they're upset, it's a whole chain reaction to what's going on in the school. So as City Year, as a staff, I'm literally there I'm basically the mediator, trying to make sure everything is smooth, and also trying to help them grow and develop as how can I say it? I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. I'm sorry, please don't mind me. But just to keep a balance, between the classroom, because it's crazy. Some of the students actually look to me as a teacher sometimes when we have substitutes. They'll literally come up to me and ask, hey, can I use the bathroom? And I'll be like, I can't really do that because I'm sitting here. You got to ask a substitute if you can use the bathroom. So it's a lot. It's a lot of learning throughout what you're doing here at City Year.
And what grade were you with?
Oh, I work with 7th grade. I work in junior high school. So, they're in the age group where they're really learning certain new things, and they're trying to develop as a youth.
Yep. So overall, we work in 3rd through 9th grade. So we work from elementary all the way through to high schools with the research that shows early intervention will help students get back on track towards graduation. So like Prince was sharing, he was working in a classroom. He was with students there day in and day out. So one of the things that we look at is consistency. So we are there from about a half hour before the first bell rings till at least an hour after that final bell rings, with the students all day. We are not the classroom instructor. We are there to help support the students. So exactly what Prince said, but our students know us. They know City Year, and we'll see people in the hallway that are like City Year. And sometimes when I'm in a school, I'm like, I don't work here. I don't even go here. And they'll come after, ask those questions. So did you want to add something, Prince?
Yeah, I wanted to add something real quick. In New York, City Year, we do not work in high schools. So we only work from third to eighth grade. We don't go anything above that. Just like you guys know.
Yep, and that is so. Kimmy, what you worked with fourth grade?
Who, me?
Kimmy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
Where did it go? Yeah, I did. I worked with fourth graders. Love it.
And so I think Prince hit on this too, is that so we hire 18 to 25-year-olds. So we hire folks who are right out of high school all the way on up to the age 25. So you need a high school diploma and be a U.S. citizen for minimum requirements. We do additionally have full-time positions. Today we are focusing on the core member position as we do have openings at our sites that we need to fill. But if you are interested in any of our full-time positions, you can go to cityyear.org/jobs, or you can reach out to myself and I'll be able to guide you in that direction for those jobs. So we're going to move into our next section, which is the application. So we talked about a little bit about we're in the rolling application period right now. So why don't I'll ask, we'll go over to Kimmy. So tell us a little bit about what your application process was like and what made you decide to serve with City Year. How'd you find out about it?
Okay. So I actually found out about City Year through a friend of mine in college. I was looking at their Snapchat story and would see them hang out with the kids, hang out with their teammates, stuff like that, with the red bomber jacket, which honestly the red bomber jacket was like what kept me in because I really love bomber jackets. And I was like, what's City Year? What's this? What is this dope looking bomber jacket? So I hit him up and he was telling me about City Year and what they do and what the kind of work is. And in my senior year of college, I took a seminar class on minority health and like community engagement and doing volunteer work through that, and like what service means. And they talked about City Year in that. And I was really interested because I was looking for a gap year program before I started applying for law school. So the recruiter actually came to my campus and I got a chance to talk to her and just like network and communicate. And she gave me her card and said like, hey, if you're interested, follow up with me some more, let's talk and like whatever. So I actually forgot to network with her because I'm really bad at it, but she came again during our career fair. And by that point, I had already kind of applied to City Year. And the application process was pretty smooth from what I remember. Just answering questions about like why I'm interested in service, what are my related experiences with service, why do I want to work with you, so on and so forth. And she was really awesome even as well when I came to talk to her at the job fair, and just like really open, really excited to like just get to know me more, and just like very encouraging about the process. And then, yeah, I think I heard back. I applied in the winter, like December time, and I think I heard back like mid-January. So yeah, my application process is pretty smooth, but I think it helped a lot to have a friend who did the program and like know them through that, but also have a recruiter who was really into like bridging that connection between us and like actually like talking to me and filling in with that process, which made me feel much more comfortable joining the program and serving the program.
So Prince, do you want to talk a little bit, so can you share that it is an online application, it's just a few short answer questions. What happens after you submit that application?
After you submit your application, so I applied as a mid-year. I'm not sure if Kimmy started as a full-time position. I'm a mid-year, so I came in during half of the year, so I started in January. The process, it was an easy process. I basically just went online, filled in my information, and then after that, I believe I got a couple of emails from Zach. I think he's like he works as staff here in New York City, And then also I had a phone interview. You could either do a phone interview or in-person interview. Due to the fact that I lived in Virginia, I had to do a phone interview because I was applying at the New York City site. So you have your interview, and I believe like a day or two afterwards, something like that, you get your acceptance or not.
Yep. So I know a few of you. I know someone mentioned that you were in Seattle. So you can interview for any site. We do most of our interviews are over the phone. So you will schedule that interview, and it is about 30 minutes. It's a pretty quick interview process, not too hard. You do have one reference that you're required to submit. So you do need one professional reference. But you can complete the application online in about an hour, and you're going to upload a resume. So as long as you have your resume ready and you can proofread your essay an hour, 2 hours, you're good to go. And I think something Kimmy alluded to is a recruiter. So everyone who starts an application, we have recruiters across the country. I'm in New Jersey. Rashina is in Virginia. So we have recruiters that are at sites, but we also have recruiters that are in across the country. And so most of our schools have a recruiter. So once you start an application or fill out an interest form, which we'll share those links with you in the chat, that you'll get into our system and a recruiter will connect with you. So you will get some automated emails. Here's a hot tip. Reply to those emails. Use that contact information. Kimmy said it perfectly. Use the recruiter. Ask the recruiter questions. You're doing perfectly right now. What you need to be doing is getting more information, getting the information, asking those questions, because we want to make sure that you understand what you're applying for when you do. So we have 3 representatives in New York, DC, and Philadelphia. So I'm going to just ask you why you chose the city that you're in, and what did it look like getting to that city? Kind of give me that info there. So let's start with Rashina.
Thank you, Alyssa. So before I get started, I also wanted to just highlight there is another recruitment manager on the call with us, specifically sitting in DC. So definitely any questions DC related, he is also happy to help provide some insight there. But so DC, so I served, like I said, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, my first year. I chose to go to that site. I just knew I wanted to do city year. I didn't know as much as you guys know about it, like right now in this call then. But I just knew that my reasons for wanting to go to Baton Rouge were simply I wanted to experience the culture of the state. I knew I wanted to be involved in education, but it didn't matter at that time in what capacity because I was still learning which path to take, so to speak. I chose to serve in DC because my experience in Baton Rouge was so, eye-opening. All those adjectives that people use to describe a thing that's hard to describe, insert those from my experience with city year in Baton Rouge, and that is why I applied for a second year to serve in DC. DC specifically because, unfortunately, and I'm still sad about this, there is not a city year site in Virginia, so the closest I could get to being closer to home was in DC. Again, like the reason wasn't necessarily related to the city as much as it was wanting to be closer to home but still being a part of the service. And honestly, I was still figuring out like which path to go on. And city year, as you will find out, is a great place to figure a lot of things out. I'll go ahead and end there.
So Prince, you shared a little bit, but want to tell us how you ended up in New York from Virginia?
So basically, with me, I just wanted a change of scenery. And I've already had experience in the New York educational system due to the fact that I went to high school there my freshman year of high school. So with me, I like having multiple perspectives in life. So picking up different cultures and stuff within areas was pretty cool to me. So also about that, the New York education system is totally different from Virginia's education system. So like learning both concepts is pretty cool to me. That was something I was interested in. And then also, I chose New York City because I have family that lives here. So I didn't have to apply for housing and stuff and have to, do all that extraness. So it was more convenient for me. basically.
And Kimmy, do you want to share for you?
Yeah, so I was already pretty familiar with Philadelphia because just knowing my friends from college were in Philly, I was going there a lot. I did an internship in Philadelphia, and I knew I really wanted to learn more about the city because I really liked it, and definitely much bigger than Lancaster. So again, like another change in scenery and stuff. So my moving process was actually pretty smooth. I joined the wow, I can't even speak. City Year Philadelphia Facebook group, which I definitely recommend if your site, like, or whatever group has that, definitely join it because you'll get to meet a lot of other potential roommates and people who are looking for roommates. So they have like listing for housing and stuff. So I found my roommates on that, and they had already kind of had experience in finding apartments and doing that stuff. I hadn't because my campus was like pretty small, so like didn't have to do like off-campus housing finding for stuff. So they were really awesome with that. And we were able to find an apartment for a really good price in North Philadelphia. So we were able to do that and live there and like be able to move in pretty smoothly. But yeah, I had a really nice transition to Philadelphia.
And so, Rashina, we talked a little bit about finding housing in the cities. Can you just, and I know Mac asked a great question just about service, but we didn't go over benefits. So do you want to share a little bit about the benefits and maybe some of the benefits, in DC that you had?
Yeah, Mac, I was actually like over here busily typing to answer your question, which I think is an awesome question. Just to throw it out there in case other people aren't looking at the chat. Max, so thank you to the panelists. I realize there is a pattern when each of the panelists make a statement that they said, I serve instead of I work or volunteer. Is there a philosophy behind it that supports City Year's mission? And I think that is definitely an amazing question that I feel like as a core member, you're going to reflect on your entire year of service. The reason I won't answer for everybody else, but I have to answer this from my perspective, is that I've had a lot of jobs in my lifetime, and service is definitely not the same thing as work. You have to kind of humble yourself a bit more when it comes to service because you are at work. You enter into a space and you expect it to be super structured, and there are, there's a lot more certainty, I feel like, when it comes to work, and there's a lot more, like, you've got a paycheck at the end. Like, your motivation is to, I won't say what anybody's motivation is, but say when it comes to me, like, I think about it like, well, when I go to work, I'm getting paid for the work that I'm putting in, and then I clock out and I go home, and hopefully I can, like, kind of turn it off. But with service, I think the difference there is you're entering into people's, like, individual lives. Like, we are but a fly on the wall in a place that's expecting and hoping that we're there to provide a service and not there to just collect a paycheck at the end of the day. So you're gonna be a much different employee as somebody who is providing service than you are, hopefully, than you would be if you were just at work. And sometimes we can do both, and that's beautiful if you can. But I think with service, we try not to think of it as work because I hope that answers the question. I'm going to leave it there. I'm terrible with explaining myself today. But.
So I'm just gonna go into the nuts and bolts a little bit, which I wanted to make sure that we hit on. So City Year is part of the AmeriCorps network. So it is full-time service. So this is not, legally and technically, it is not a job. You are working very hard. So it is 1 year of full-time service. You're going to work from August until June, or July until June, depending on the school year in the city that you serve. And you will receive a living stipend. So while you serve, you will get a living stipend that you can use for your housing, or you can use it for food or any expenses that you might have. It's about $600 approximately. It does range from city to city. Every other week, You'll also get a uniform, so you can see that we're all rocking these nice red pieces of clothing. You'll also get t-shirts. You will get a winter jacket, a backpack. This year I don't think we're getting shoes, but you get a discount on buying the shoes. Polo shirts, button-down shirts. So you do not have to worry about your clothing for the year, and then you just need black pants, a black belt, socks, and those types of things. But we will provide you with a full winter jacket. So all the cities we're talking about have lovely, lovely cold winters. So we'll give you a nice warm winter jacket and a backpack, all those things so you can get to and from work. You'll get transportation benefits. So you'll get transportation passes in your city that you can use to get to and from work. Some vary that they are good for a certain amount of money. Others are unlimited as a student pass. And that we partner with the school district or the transportation system, not with the school district. You're also going to get student loan forbearance. You have federal loans, those can be put in forbearance during the year you're serving. So I know a lot of college graduates have the concern of paying for student loans. You don't need to worry about that during the year. And the other great thing is one thing you're doing is helping it. So one of the great benefits of AmeriCorps is the education award that you can use to pay for past or future education. So you can use that to pay off your federal loans, or you can use that to apply to graduate school. We also additionally have graduate scholarships, and you can look at those up at City or at the university partnerships. Rashina, if you put that link in there, if you can find it. If not, I can pop it in. They're graduate programs that give 25 to 100% tuition for City or alumni. So you are not only going to help reduce the cost of graduate school, but you can also use that for future. You also can apply for food stamps, so you have that. We also provide you with full health insurance, not dental or medical, but you do get that. So there is very similarities to a job, but it is a year of service and it is a full-time volunteer opportunity, and you are serving a community. So I hope that answers your question, Mac. But yes, I think everyone, and we should tell anyone to say, I serve or I do. That is at the core of what we do, is service to our communities. So, yeah, what was that? Let me just see before we move to the next topic. I just saw something pop up. Yes, so the education award, you get that at the end of the term of service. And it is, Sheena, do you have can we find a link to the Siegel Education Award?
Yeah,
basically,
it's $6,095 at the end of your service year, but it will be taxed.
So you have, it is, basically you have an account that you can use and apply that for education. So you can use it to pay off your federal loans. We have someone visiting us in New York over there. You can use to pay off your past federal loans, knowing that when you do use it, you will be taxed on that. So we recommend you using that over the course of a couple of years. Don't do it all at once. And also use it to pay for graduate school. Again, you can break that up. We actually have schools that will match that education award. So it actually could be doubled when you go into graduate school. So that is the Siegel Education Award, which is not city year specific. That is the AmeriCorps Education Award for completing 1,700 hours of this. A few hours, and there are some programs that do have half. So then you do get the full ed award with city. So we talked a little bit about the cities that we serve in. Does anyone want to talk about, I think we went over housing. Why don't we talk about training? So what, did you come in with city year experience? Did you come in with experience working in a schoolhouse? And what did training look like for you? So we'll head over to Kimmy first.
Okay, so I didn't really have much city year training before starting city year, but it's fine because Basic Training Academy, or BTA, which is 3 weeks, really helped to prepare me for that, for as much as I could be prepared until I actually got in the field. But training really looked like, for me, at least on my side specifically, if it was a little bit different, someone else definitely chime in and share that. But the first week is kind of like introducing you into like what City Year is, like what City Year culture is, about the values that we have, about Unity Rally, about all like kind of like the culture piece of City Year. And then throughout training in the next 2 weeks, when you like get your team and get your school assignments, then you're really learning about like how to be an effective tutor, how to be an effective mentor, how to really address things like trauma in the schoolhouse and like how that affects them, how to work with a partner teacher, how to work on a team, how to team build, how to kind of navigate the school system, stuff like that. So they really like prepare you for what the service is going to look like the best way that they can, and kind of like navigate that. My training was definitely just a lot of like collaborating with my teammates, but also other core members in the training sessions to really get a better idea of what our service is going to look like.
So Prince, you kind of had a unique opportunity starting in January, which is something. So if you are graduating in December or are thinking that July is soon, we may have mid-year positions. They do vary from city to city, but how did you get prepared to get into the school and ready to go? What kind of...
Okay, so I joined in City Year again as a mid-year. So you come in during the middle of the year, which I started in January. My BTA was like, truthfully, it was like rushed due to the fact that I only had 2 weeks to prepare to get into the classroom with the students. So like Kim was saying, you have to go, we went over like, working with our partner teachers, going over the Clover model. We went over a lot of psychological things in the environment that we work in. And the process for me was kind of fast due to the fact I was a mid-year. So I guess with me, like how I learned to work in this environment, I actually had to go through it. So with my training was basically a lot of PowerPoints. And with me, I'm the type of guy that literally zones out when I see PowerPoints. I'm the type of guy that has to get up and actually do stuff. So me, my learning experience, actually, I had to go within the field and feel it for myself, if that makes sense. So yeah. Did I answer the question?
I think so. So you asked what is BTA. So I will apologize. Basic Training Academy, which is basically when we basically train you. It is 3 weeks of full-time training at the beginning of the year. And then we do have a mid-year training that happens additionally, usually in about January or February, which will also get you ready, to serve. We use a lot of acronyms at City Year. So I guess because we work so hard and people are so tired that using full sentences and full words is hard. So we use acronyms for everything. And one of the things in basic training in BTA is learning all the acronyms of City Year as well as the lingo in our cities. But your training will happen throughout the year. So we have people who are coming in with years of education experience. We have people coming in with zero experience. We have people who have worked with camps and daycares with much younger children. We have people who have worked with high school age students. So everyone is coming in with different experiences. And one thing we haven't really touched on is diversity within the organization. But we aim to create a diverse environment and community for our students and for our core members. But we also do that not only in some of the things that we think about as diversity, but also diversity in education, diversity in background, diversity in experience, which goes into some of the roles that folks will play on the team, that you can kind of highlight and share the things that you are really great at, but also learn things that you need to grow and develop in. So what, if you can think of some of the things that you had and skills that you had, what were things that you had that you feel made you prepare to serve? Or maybe something that your teammates had? What were some things and skills that you definitely applied? that you were able to tap into during service?
Well, are you talking to me?
Anyone, any of our panelists.
Oh, oh. Wait, can you ask that again? I'm sorry.
Yep. What skills and past experiences were you able to tap into during your year of service?
Um, so with me, I feel like I was straight out of high school. So it was like I was kind of already prepared for the certain challenges that the students may face because I just came from those circumstances. So I felt like I had an advantage in, actually connecting with the students and actually motivating them to do their work. But sometimes I know with my specific students, they had a hard time actually understanding why we're learning the information that's being fed to us. And I had to, be there to support them and let them know that knowledge is infinite. So, you have to be open minded with all the information that's being given to you. So with me, it's I don't know. It's basically my strength was like really connecting with the students and motivating them to actually get their work done, and also providing a positive environment for them so that they don't have to worry about anything else that's going on within their.
Yeah, to chime in on that, I would also say that my strength coming into City here was relationship building. When I was in college, I worked over the summer as a resident advisor for incoming students of different ethnic backgrounds and like different socioeconomic backgrounds. And a part of my job was like being a mentor. So I was literally in the position like the first year because I also did the same program and also was like in the college at the time. So just like relating to them on their that experiences, what it's like to be at that college, be in their position, going through that program, and just kind of like telling them like, yeah, like your first year of college is going to be rough. Like it's going to be a hard transition, but like we made it, you can make it too. Like we're here, like kind of like working on them, like meeting them where they're at. So I had a lot of experience with that and doing that with my fourth graders, which is a little interesting because they're kids, right? So like you kind of have to water down like what you're having, but they're also kids who have gone through a lot of experiences that their age shouldn't have. So it's also like learning, for me, it was also like learning how to relationship build, but also like navigating that, like, okay, you're a child, but also like you know a lot more than you should know, and like how to like continue working with that. But also just like I'm a super creative person. I love putting on events. I love collaborating with my team, and like I really like finding out what people love to do and like how they do it well, and like you're like, okay, I have this event. You're really good at design. Put you on design, like let's go. And really utilizing the strengths of my team, but also like bringing in my kids. Like I had a lot of projects for my events that I would do that required a lot of like artistic work. So I would just be like, hey, like, do you want to come paint with me? And we could just like hang out, talk, like chill, do stuff like that. And my kids like really appreciated that. Just like one, they love coming out of the classroom, but two, just like hanging out with City here because we were the first kind of like group of people to provide that positive experience for them. And I really just loved like making it fun for my kids, whether it was like doing math or like having to do their reading or just like having those really like heart-to-heart conversations.
So I think one thing, City Year is pretty complex. Just tell us what your day was like. What from the time you wake up, your commute, and then kind of what your day was like on we'll say in quotes a typical day, because I know there's no such thing as a typical day when we're working. How did you refer to it? Strong personalities, Prince. So with our students with strong personalities.
Yes.
So Prince,
So my day was like, me personally, I had a 45-minute commute to the school I served in because I live in Queens. So I would have to take the J train all the way to Broadway Junction, then hop on the A train, then go to Brooklyn. So it was a 45-minute commute, and then at my school, we start at 7:45 a.m. So we're right before school actually begins in open circle. And like open circle means a school gathering. All the students meet in the auditorium, and the teachers are hyping them up for the day, motivating them, providing them quotes and stuff like that. And then we get into our actual school day, which is like we're doing in-class support with our partner teachers, helping students with their work and stuff like that. And also we have our interventions. So sometimes we pull students. We have our little. Well, I was the ELA uh, instructor for City Year, and we would
What was
do what
ELA? You want to tell us what ELA is? What is ELA? There's
ELA
another
is
acronym.
English. It's basically English literature, like reading, like English. So yeah, sorry, uh, New York Times, but yeah, ELA, we did that, and I would basically help them with like their spelling, their grammar, their phonics and stuff like that, with words their way, and we would do that from 7:45 to 2:20. Boom. At 2:20, that's when we transition to after school. Now, in some schools in New York City, we have partnerships with after school programs. We have CBOs, is what they call them. So it's like an after school organization that, it's an organization, but City Year is basically the support of that organization. That was at my school. But at some schools in New York City, Shittier actually hosts their own after school program. So that means, like for me, I'm the after school coordinator. So I have to plan and organize certain specific days what we're going to do for after school for the kids. So on Tuesdays, we had Express Yourself. So that's basically like ELA, or we were like, I don't know, sometimes we'll write poems and present them to the class and stuff like that. And then on Wednesdays, we have Tinker Coding. The kids would do like robotics on the computers and stuff. And then on Thursdays, we would do STEM. So that means science, technology, math. Yeah, I forgot to eat. But yeah, we would do certain projects on that. And yeah, and then afterwards, we will have final circles when, city air staff come together at the end, talk about our day, and have little, I don't want to say icebreakers, but like little games and stuff we do within the circle to like, uh, come back, like to settle down for the day, I guess. And then, yeah. But every day is not a regular day. It's so many changes that happen throughout the school day because it's multiple, like, how can I say it? Like, sometimes when you want to pull certain students for interventions, they may not be there due to the fact they didn't come to school that day. And you'll have to reschedule everything that you planned for that specific day. You'll have to pick up other students. And sometimes some other students will fall behind due to the fact that they're of their attendance. It's just multiple things that happen throughout the day. That's why it's always good to be flexible when you're working with City Ed. Definitely. And that's it.
And what time did you typically leave school?
So we try our best to leave the school at 5:45 sharp, but sometimes that doesn't even happen due to the fact that at final circle we might bring up some idea and have a heated debate about it, and then and then it just escalates, and then we'll end up leaving at like 6 or something like that. But 5:45 is like the hard time we're trying to get out of because we're in there all day long, so we're trying to get home and get some sleep and stuff like
Good idea. So Kimmy, do you want to share a little about what your typical day looked like?
Honestly, Prince did like a really good job of covering everything. For me, I would wake up at 5:30 because I lived in North Philadelphia and my school was in Northeast Philadelphia. And I had to take, I actually used to take a lot of different routes. So my main route was I would take the sub, which is a 10-minute walk from my house, and then I would pick up a bus, and then that bus would drop me off to my school, and I would just walk it home. So to get there for first circle at 7:15, I am not a morning person, but I force myself to be a morning person. So I'd be like, you know what, get ready, shower, eat my breakfast, gotta go. Be a human being. I would get to school at 7, around like 7:20 because our first circle was at 7:45. So 7:20, 7:45, we circle up just like Prince said, and that's where we really get the announcements. So like stuff that's due for the week, stuff that's happening in the year that we need to like get done. If there's like a learning development day, they would remind us about that and like those details and stuff. And we would start our like first circle with jars. So jars are joys, appreciations, or ripples, and that's basically where you can share something that really often that happened to you that you like want to share with the team, or ripple where it's like one thing happened and that affected something else in a positive way. Or like appreciations for your teammates, or like for your students, or for the teachers. So I would just like really get us into like the positive mindset for the day, and then we bring it on a break, and then we would do our like power greeting cheers for the students 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then mostly in the morning, we're just out in the courtyard, greeting our students, lining up with the class, heading in. And just like Prince said, it's my schedule would change on the daily, but for the most part, I would work with my kids in math in their math block, and then do an intervention in math, and then in the afternoon, after lunch, I would have them for literacy. So we would do Words Their Way, or just like catch up on their reading or math assignments that they may not have finished, their homework they had done, a lot of catch-up work. And then sit with them for lunch, have our SEL conversations with their social emotional learning, work with them on that too. And then around 3 o'clock is when our after school would start. So I was also the after school coordinator at my site where I worked, and we would have meetings at 2:45 every day. So we would be on the ball, like as a team, like, okay, so this is the club that's happening, this is where we're at energy-wise, this is who needs to pick up snack, like these are what we're doing in the club. So, like everyone was on the same page, because we realized very quickly if we're all not on the same page, after school is not going to go well. And we're also our sole provider. So I was like, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to figure out our clubs, we're going to do what we got to do, we're going to make sure this is great for the kids, like, we got to go for like another 2 hours, right? I see you, Prince, you get it, you get it. And then we would love to be out of the school by 5:15. Now, because we have elementary kids and have to get picked up, some of them did walk home, but we also would just wait for parents to come pick them up. So sometimes we wouldn't be out of the building until, let's say, like 5:30, 5:45. That's like after first circle, not first circle, well, final circle. So yeah, my day would start at like 7:45 and roughly at 5:15. But like Prince said, flexibility is like going to be your best friend, because you're going to be like, I have a schedule, I have a plan. Oh wait, that's not happening. Okay, time to work something else. But like you get used to it, you know, like thinking on your feet, and there's always like ways to like work around it.
So both of you mentioned interventions. Do one of you want to just explain to everyone what does that mean and what do they look like?
So, interventions is basically, it's like a small group setting of students, like you'll maybe pull at most. I'll pull as 3 students, because with my focus list students, they don't like each other. So it's like, it's hard to like, you know, try to get them all on one accord and one intervention. So like, you basically pull them and like, you help them with their English skills. So like, spelling, I know for sure, like when I first came in as a mid-year, I had to test my students. They had to take their MI, RI testing, and they also had to take a spelling test. And based on that spelling test, they will be put into different categories. I don't really remember which each one is called, but they were in these specific categories. Within that specific category, they'll work on specific things as a group. So we'll either do that, or me personally, I will pull them out of their classrooms, because some of them have their grades are like, you know, some of them like they play or whatever, due to the fact that they're not turning in assignments. So I will talk to my partner teacher or teachers around the building about the progress of each student of mine. If they're missing any assignments or anything, I will literally, like, if they're doing well in one class, I will try to pull them out and try to work with them on any work that they may need to turn in, just so the simple fact that they're on track with their grades when it comes to the intervention. So basically, interventions is basically you pull the students out of the classroom, you're helping them with their English or math skills. It can sometimes even be other skills as well, like history or anything, due to the simple fact that I say knowledge is infinite. I always preach that to my kids, due to the fact that you're never supposed to stop learning. So yeah, that's basically it for me.
So we have a couple questions in the chat about career paths, majors. So we hire all majors, all backgrounds. So we do primarily tutoring in math and literacy. And so, yes, English majors are great. Business majors are awesome because you love math. Well, at least you're dedicating a lot of your time to math. I will say that one thing thinking about it is, I think Kimmy and Prince both alluded to the long hours they're working. So if you are planning on going to graduate school next year, serving and going to school at the same time is biting off a lot. And so thinking about what to do, but also knowing that if you do a year of service next year, then going to grad school, all those benefits that we talked about before, you can utilize. So thinking about those things. So we'll definitely make sure, I know Rashina put in the chat links to have our, to contact us, to connect with us, and we'll make sure to try and message everyone afterwards to set up one-on-ones with recruiters. There's a car alarm going off, so I apologize for that. There's background noise, but we are getting to the 1 o'clock time. So if you do have questions, please pop those in the chat. But what I want each of our panelists to kind of share, what was your favorite part? What is your favorite part of your service, and what is one piece of advice you would want to share with an applicant or someone considering sitting here?
All right. So basically, my favorite part of sitting here is definitely the students. It's nothing else because, like, when you see the students, you start to have a reflection of where you were in school. You know, when you were in high school, when you were in middle school, you start identifying certain things that the kids go through and the same you went through. And then also teaching them how to maneuver through certain situations that you face and didn't do right in school. So I feel like that's pretty cool. And then, wait, what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry. It was
What advice would you give to
yeah.
someone considering sitting here?
You have to have extreme patience. You have to be patient. What, like, really patient, because like the students will say things and they may be mean things, and you just have to take it to the chin and also understand that they don't mean what they say. And also, like, so much stuff happens throughout the day, it's hard to keep track of things. So having patience is a big thing, and also know that we're not when you're joining City Year, you're not doing it for money. I think Rashina was trying to talk about that earlier, but in a different way. You're not doing it for the money. You're basically investing yourself into the children that you're signing up for. So patience, that's my big thing when it comes to City Year.
So for me, my favorite thing about City Year, also for the students, honestly, my fourth graders not only were able to like drive me up a wall, but also I was cracking up and just having fun, like hanging out with them. And also my team, we had a lot of ups and downs, but like they really helped me to grow as the person I am today, and like my team lead and all that stuff. So like my team and my students and just the overall experience of the year. My favorite thing was like the events that I would put on. And it's like kind of ties into my advice that this is your year. Like, yeah, you're here for the students, and that's like your number one priority, but like also take this time to like push yourself out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself, and like everything you do and like take the opportunities that you have. Like my favorite thing to do was throw events because I knew that like my students were gonna love it and they were gonna have fun. And like I do the events like for the kids to like really enjoy themselves and like do what they have to do. And whenever you think like, oh, I can't do this, like, yeah, you can. There's so many opportunities for you to like really make the most of your year, and it starts when you're like, you know what, I got this. Like there's not like many places or chances where people are like, you know what, you want to make this happen? Okay, like let's make this happen. Like let's work with the administration. Like let's work with your bosses, let's work with your teammates, and then you really see something. Like one of my favorite events that I put on this year was a self-love campaign that was inspired by a conversation I had with one of my students who really didn't like her natural hair and would only show her hair when she had it in braids. And I was like, girl, like, you're beautiful, like, what? Like, your natural hair is, like, a part of you, and it's great, but, like, they couldn't really see that, and a lot of our students couldn't really see that. So me and my team worked together to put on a space where the kids could really, like, talk about what self-love means for them and, like, work with each other and advocate for each other, and really just learn from one another about, like, how can we promote and advocate for self-love, not only for ourselves, but for the community, and, like, just seeing the kids, like, have the opportunity to have that conversation that they may not have been able to was great. So I definitely say that, like, one, yeah, have patience, but two, like, make the most of this year, because you have so many opportunities to, like, really grow in the way that you want to, and really at that same time, you will grow with your students because your students are going to be teaching you so much.
So the relocation benefit is to help you with your relocation. So for moving expenses, and most of that is the travel to your new location if you are moving with it for 50 miles or more from your current residence. But definitely, if you connect, once you connect, we connect after, we can go into more detail about that. But it is something you do also need to apply for. And so we want to get step one is getting that application in, and then getting you through the admissions process. So it's to help. So it is something it's something newer that we're trying to do to help folks with the relocation benefit. Prince, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say because I received that benefit. I was just gonna say, when you receive that benefit, you get that $500. I think in your first paycheck. I just wanted to put that out there. That's it.
Thank you. You have probably the best knowledge of all of us, having someone who received it and used it more than we can. Rashina, do you want to add what? I don't know. I don't see Sheena on the screen.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I lost, my computer died, and then I was finishing. I really want to connect with you, Mac. After this call, I will finish, or after the call, I'll finish the chat as soon as I'm done. But the last thing I would say to add on to this, I mean, really, Prince and Kimmy, y'all put it blendedly this entire call, is that, yes, we focus a lot on the students in the school, definitely on the students' school, but for me, I still remember, and I just got to spend time with the teacher I served with when I served in Baton Rouge. She came to my wedding, and one thing I would add is definitely don't forget about your teacher. A lot of the staff in our schools are overworked. They have families at home, like all of it, like a lot of us in the Corps and in our students as well. But our teachers really do come to see us as support. And I think that one of my favorite parts of serving in the Corps was really getting to see behind the scenes what each and every teacher that taught me did. So just remember your teachers and definitely remember your team. And thank you guys for your time. And again, if anyone would like to connect, I am super excited to talk about all the questions you all asked, as well as the other recruiters on the call as well. So do not be shy to reach out.
So thank you again. And some of the folks on our call today, you do go to different schools that we have recruiters at. So as much as Rashina and I want to connect with you, we're going to do our best to connect you with those recruiters since they're more closer in those spaces. So we'll do our best to get you connected with those recruiters as well. But I think the one thing that I want to close on is there are a few questions popping up. So it is about 10 to 12 hours per day. So about 50 plus hours a week that folks are serving again to do that. And yes, Tina, a lot of our Corps members do end up teaching in the schools that we serve in. Some folks go get a master's and come back and go and work there, but our school districts love to hire our Corps members. They're familiar with the community, they've experienced it. We do have a lot of our Corps members serving there. We also have a lot of people like Kimmy who are going and doing something completely different and practicing law, but also connected to the work that they do, or folks who are going into medicine or anything else, but taking that city year experience, sharing that. I think what all of our panelists shared with you today is that it is hard work, it is a lot of work, but it's also really meaningful and powerful. And so I encourage all of you to reach out to us. So you can connect with me on Handshake if that's how you found out about it. I will drop my email here in the chat. So it's acrutoff@cityyear, leaving out the Y, .org. So jot that down before you log off. This recording will be shared. So hopefully, if you didn't find out about this on Handshake, shoot me an email and let me know, because I will be sending out the email to everyone. We did capture attendance, so we know who is here. And if you are interested, hop on over, start an application. We'd love to see those applications come in. We are getting near to those start dates. July is next month, and we are starting registration start in July. So with that, I'm going to let everyone get back to the rest of your afternoon and lunch if you haven't already had your lunch. So it is that lunch period. Thank you again to Kimmy and to Prince and to Rashina, as well as Joe and Richard, who joined us from our team. But I'm glad all of you decided to spend an afternoon with us, and hopefully we were able to answer your questions and have you moving forward into the next steps of the process. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.